Hello, I am Kerry O'Rourke and I'm recording a short message in support of Katie Gerrard's book about seethe called The Gate is Open. And this little lady is Lyra. Say hello, Lyra. Hello! This is my little girl who will be joining us at various points throughout the video because she just wants to be with Mummy this evening. So, what I wanted to talk about is the differences between seethe and solo shamanic journeying, because I did a lot of solo shamanic journeying for many years before I started working with Katie and discovering seethe. And I guess that within the kind of pagan and magical community, lots of you will be familiar with solo journeying and maybe less familiar with seethe. And I thought it would be good to talk about some of the differences. So, one of the biggest differences that I find in taking part in a high seat rite and doing solo journeying is the energy that is used to travel to the other world. When you're doing solo journeying, you're creating your own energy. You're either drumming for yourself or drumming from or listening to a drumming tape. And small child wants chocolate. Daddy's going to give her chocolate. So when you're doing solo journeying, you are almost in control of the energy yourself. When you're in a high seat rite and you're going down to Helheim as a seer, it's the crowd around you that supplies the energy, and that can give you a very different experience. Oh, there we go. See, wonders of live, Tilly. Get me sneezing too. And I think that the differences in energy give you a very different experience. It's not that in seethe it's uncontrolled. It's just someone else, or the group mind, if you like, is controlling the energy. So it feels different. And that can sometimes mean you have a more intense experience as the journeyer, or sometimes it can mean you have a lighter trance. That's certainly something that I've experienced. I think another difference between solo journeying and journeying as part of seethe is that when you journey in seethe, the way that we do it, and the way that Katie does it, and the rites that she's developed, is that people come and have queries which are asked of the seer while the seer is actually in the trance state. Yes, Myra's showing you bits of chocolate there. Eating chocolate, yummy. And so you're being asked questions while you're in the trance state. The difference with solo journeying is quite often if you are answering questions for a querent, they will ask you the question beforehand, and then you go into the trance, you go into the journey, and then you come back and then you relay the answer after you've come out of the trance. And so when you're acting as a seer in seethe, sometimes you're not even aware of the questions, and Katie and I have kind of discussed this, and she quite often can't even remember the questions that have been asked. I've had a mixed bag. Sometimes I remember questions, sometimes I don't. But as the seer, it puts an extra kind of pressure or level of complexity to the actual trance state in seethe, because you have to let your mind and your energy kind of be with the journey, be with Helheim, and be able to answer questions, but not come out of the trance state. And so it can be kind of a bit tricky sometimes. And I guess over the years, the techniques that Katie and the group has developed has been to help the seer to remain within that trance state. And I think that there's been occasions where been able to go completely over into the trance state because I trust that I've got people around me who can bring me back if needs be. And that's something you don't get when you're solo journeying. So that can sometimes hold you back, I guess, from being totally within in the trance state. I think another thing that for me has been different in terms of my experiences with seed as opposed to solo journeying is the challenges that I faced as a seer have been quite different for me than the challenges I faced doing solo work. At a rite that I was at last summer, myself, Katie, and another person were all acting as seers, so we had 3 seers. When we were contacting the spirits within Helheim, they actually seemed to kind of divide themselves up, and we had different types of spirits going to different people. And I actually had the spirits not of people who had lived and died, but in fact of unborn children. It's a subject that's quite close to my heart as someone who suffered miscarriage. And I found that not only was the spirit or the soul of the child that I'd lost there, but also spirits of children who had were yet to be born, or those who had died in the womb, and they were wanting to contact their parents who were at the rite. And I did actually have one woman come and ask a question that I think that the energy was quite strange, and for one reason or another, no one else came up to talk to me, even though very clearly the spirits of the children were all around me. And what that ritual did for me was it really made me kind of question the nature of the soul, of reality, of being, much more than some of the challenges and the expansions of my mind, if you like, that I had experienced whilst doing solo journeying. These really made me think about, well, who are the spirits in Helheim, and when does the soul exist, and what happens to children that die in the womb, and what about the souls that are yet to be born? This idea of if you believe in circular time or whatever, the souls that are waiting to be born, and it really kind of challenged me in a way that I'm really glad that I did that ritual, even though it was personally quite emotionally draining and quite intense for me to have that. I'm really glad I did it, and that's something that I wouldn't have had without Steve. So I think that's really the main kind of things that I wanted to say. If anyone has any questions, then I guess you can post them up and I can answer them.